Very special treat for you this evening. We have Janet Kuypers, the one and only Janet Kuypers, the most amazing artist, and I'm so delighted to have her here with me tonight. Janet is going to be reading to us. She has, oh my goodness, she's got more new books than you can shake a stick at, and she's got another one in the works. It's the Periodic Table of Poems. Which is based on the periodic table of elements. Each poem is written for one of the elements, and so it's really a significant body of work. Whoa! Very prolific writer, Janet Kuypers. Janet, welcome.
Well, hello there.
Yeah,
Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great having you here. I love having you on the Wizard.
I love this studio. It's a great space. I adore it.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I do. I really do.
So Janet has a venue that she hosts, and it's called the Gallery Cabaret.
The venue is at Gallery Cabaret. It's a cafe gallery poetry open mic that's every other Wednesday, usually from 7 till 9 p.m. And it's the bar, Gallery Cabaret, is at 2020 North Oakley, which is, for you Chicagoans, very close to Armitage and Western. Which
Very
is
close to where we host the Bucktown Arts Fest.
Yes, definitely. Which is, close to the Blue Line L stop and tons of free parking, and it's a great fun space. And I could talk about how great the bar is because I've got great beer prices, but it's a great space.
It's a wonderful venue. In fact, the Wizard is going to be hosting a couple of events there this fall.
Very cool.
So yeah, we're psyched about that. So we love to talk up the Gallery Cabaret. Definitely. And you have who's coming in this week?
Oh, what, to the open mic? Oh, well, actually, there's an added bonus because the next show is a week and a half from now, which is the 7th, I believe, is the Wednesday of October, or the 8th is the Wednesday. But the day beforehand, on the 7th, we have a bonus show. It's not really for the poets, it's for the musician that's there. Francois Leroux, the Haman of South Africa, is going to be coming in town with Yoke from Belgium. They're actually doing a show, but they are really begging for improv, for people to be able to walk up on stage and to be able to perform with them. And that I did a call out to my poets. I said, go out there if you've got something to say, which I've got this very tiny thing so I could read something and then spout and just go into anything. And I've decided I'm actually going to bring my magic 8-ball along and say, so, are we doing a good job with the environment? Shake, 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 shake. All indications point to no, and I could go on some sort of spouting thing or whatever, and have my magic 8-ball for doing some improv stuff about something in it.
Like
and I think that other musicians are welcome, or anybody that has something that they would be able to perform with the Haman of South Africa.
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily have to be music. It could also be improvisers.
Exactly. Improv people. I mean, whatever might, I'll work with this and come up with something. And although it is not technically a scheduled event for Chicago Calling, this is genuinely what Chicago Calling is.
Yes.
Show off your work with somebody from outside of the greater Chicagoland area. Well, we have somebody from pretty much the opposite side of the planet, so that seems fair.
Yes, an amazing artist. Oh my goodness.
The cello that he brings along, it's just phenomenal. I heard it.
Yeah.
Everybody does. All the women get all swoony when you pull out the cello and play music. It's so true. It is so
awesome.
true. So I'm thrilled with being able to do that. And as I said, the next night, and because we've got so many people and we've got a 2-hour night, we often have 2 features, and we've got 2 women features that are coming up in that week and a half from now. And
who's that?
Lucia Blinn and Pam Miller.
Oh, Pam Miller. I know Pam Miller. She's hysterical.
Yeah, so those are our 2 features. And I believe 2 weeks from that, we've got GPA, the Poetic Ensemble.
Oh, boy, what a guy.
With the other feature is Charlie Newman.
Nice. What a dynamic duo.
I know, it just blows my mind the people I've got coming in to do this stuff.
Yes.
And I do have to say, especially because of Chicago Calling, and you mentioned the periodic table stuff, I usually perform periodic table poems first at features, and I just did one on the 12th of September at Let Them Eat Chocolate from Poetry Love Letter, but the next one I'm going to do, which is my last feature of periodic table poems because I'll be doing my last pieces there. Elizabeth Marino is hosting a Chicago Calling Night at Cup and Spoon on the next day, Thursday. It's going to be a busy week that week.
Nice.
And
yeah,
so
that
I'm
is
going
a
to be
busy week.
and I will have music from the Haman of South Africa in the background while I'm doing these last pieces.
Great.
So there's your periodic table.
Oh, that'll be
reference.
something to look forward to. Awesome. So, Janet, tell me something about your new book.
The book series. I looked at it and I thought the last time I had actually released a book of poetry was, well, I did one in 2004, but pretty much 1997 was the last time I had a huge volume of 200 pages plus or whatever of poetry, which I looked at and I said, I've written a lot
10
since,
years.
since 97, since I produced these this year, that would be like 17 years. And I'm like, I have a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is stuff I've done in performance art shows, a lot of it is little blocks of prose as well. And I said I'm going to put it together, and I don't know who came up with the idea of the title, but I said I want to put on the background image, because all my past books were like a solid color. I said I want to put a collage of webbing image from x-rays from my mammogram.
Ooh.
Now it's not just a blank shot of a breast that you're seeing there. It looks like this webby, and it looks kind of bluish when you look through it. And so I thought, well, because this book would say a lot about me, I thought partial nudity would be a good title for it, because the cover even has something with the inside of my breast.
Sure.
But
wow.
I started calling them partial nudity, Janet Kuypers Revealed. But then I'm like, one book is just too huge. This would be like 600-700 pages, so I put it into a second one that was just called Revealed. And when I looked at these 300, 400 page books, I thought, I don't know if people would want to buy huge tomes like this. So when I started doing it, I started, partial nudity. I think that's the coolest title. And actually, my husband came up with the idea. I said I've always just have something like a bar or something across the cover, and he said, why don't you take a picture of yourself that is on your webpage, janetkuypers.com, and that's a picture of me jumping on a hotel bed. And I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm like, let me clone that out so that it looks like I'm not wearing anything, and just put the bar in the way. But it is, as I said, it's a lot of stuff from like past performance art shows and things like that. But as I said, as I'd gone through this, I said, I don't know if anybody's going to want to buy a big book like this. So as I was designing these things, I thought, why don't I make a bunch of mini books of all of these things? So a bunch of Twitter length poems, Twitterati, the tweet elite. I've got ones, things about dreams. I've did a lot of dreams poems. When you dream tonight, and I've got a shot of my own photo of the moon that I put in with this. I've got news related ones and things released to shows. I have this one, which called Rape, Sexism, Life and Death, because it talks about, because I worked as a acquaintance rape workshop facilitator for years, I have a lot of stories about rapes and the like, and the treatment, the poor treatment of women. And I also have a number of pieces about almost dying in an auto accident many years ago. And so I was working with someone that lives in Europe, and I said, I think we should put our stuff together and get some translations. So he knew somebody that could translate stuff. So some of the poems that are in here have with them Slovak translations.
Cool.
Not that anybody here in the States can read that, but it's still kind of a
There
cool
are
thing.
people who can read that. You'd be surprised.
But I just thought that's something I want to be able to have in there to include. But yeah, I've got I started doing these stacks of many different little books based on different shows and the like. But I still, it's my book is partial nudity. And when you look through these books, once you've got them put together, there's a section, and it's Twitterati, or it is in reference to these little volumes, and that's what it says on the header pages in different sections of the books. So
if somebody wants to find your book, where will they go?
Well, you can go to janetkuypers.com, or since these things are published through the organization I run, Scars Publications, you can always go to scars.tv. Easy enough. Scars.tv.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
And And yeah, you can find links to the books section or to my name or to whatever. One of the things at Scars Publications, we even have a section that is called the writing section. If you click on it, boom, a window appears in frames. On the left-hand frames, there's a long old list of names, author names. And if you click on any name, it'll drop down whatever they've had published at Scars. Click on that, their writing appears in the right frame. And if you click on any writing and it happens to appear in a book or something, it'll have a link at the top. By the way, it was in this, and you can order something or see details about the books there as well. So there are many places online with that you can see it. And I even try to make a point to put the QR codes on the back of the books as well. I'm like, John, check it out. And he takes his phone, scan. Oh, yep, that's the printer page where you can order this book if you wanted to know about it. So I'm trying to find as many different ways to be as
technologically savvy about it?
To be non-Luddite or something.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
So, but there's a lot of stuff in these books, and there are a lot of long ones. And actually, this is something I found funny. I decided that because I do video recording of the open mic, or if I go reading places, I have a lot of individual videos of myself reading these things. And I decided that I ought to have an index in the back that would list the YouTube links.
Oh, nice.
And then I thought, this is going to be like 16 pages long, just because there's a lot of stuff and there are a lot of poems. So I said, why don't I just try to put the links at the bottoms of these pages?
Oh, that's smart.
Now I can look and say, oh, have I ever read this before? Yes, because I have a video link that'll actually confirm it. So yeah, I've been doing that. And I even started to, especially in June, I did a feature for this book release, and I had one section even that was called Guerrilla Haiku Readings. I asked a bunch of people, would you be willing to read a haiku during my feature? Like, I'll pick something that I think is best suited to you, blah, blah, blah. And they said yes. And I gave them a page, and I said, there are 2 on this page. You're going to read your haiku, and then you're going to hand me that, and I'm going to have to read the next one. You know? So this will just be like, well, you pick out your order, you know, leave it at that. I even went to an open mic somewhere else where I knew, oh, I know these guys aren't going to be able to make it. Would you mind? And I was like thinking of this and scribbling out haikus from a smartphone on paper. Would you be willing to read a haiku? Okay, sure. I've got Charlie Newman going, it's amazing how much of your life you can fit in a single suitcase. And then he sticks out his tongue, and I'm like, I've got this on video. I'm like, I have filler to put in with this, you know, and people even would react for stuff like that if they'd see it. But it was really, really funny because I'm like, well, all you poets are people that want to get up on stage and do something. So then there was just like, people just figure out an order and like, well, all right, I'll come next. Like a periodic table poem that I had my chemist Avram say, I wish I could remember it very specifically. I'm not going to look it up. It's arsenic and penicillin, which I could look up in the periodic table book too if I wanted to, that says arsenic was used in pre-penicillin days to cure syphilis.
Whoa! How could arsenic cure anything?
Exactly. Like when you don't know anything about it, like you learn the history of these things. And this is what I get to learn when I'm doing, you know, periodic table studies, because I'm like, oh my gosh, my brain. Yes. There's like a lot of weird. I mean, I don't know what made me do that. Which is not in these partial nudity books.
Oh, okay.
It is its own separate entity. Blah blah blah.
All right.
Which hasn't been released.
Okay.
But if I release it, I might sell it for $11.18 because it covers elements 1 through 118. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
That's a good idea. Absolutely. So you're going to read us some poetry.
I would love to. And I could read poems. And actually, I was thinking. See, this is how I try to figure out different ways to get myself out there. Vine.co or whatever it is, where you do 6-second videos. And they're 6 seconds long, and that's all, and you've got to deal with that. And I was thinking of starting up an account or whatever, just so that I can pull that up. And instead of having, you know, weird, funny pictures or whatever in 6 seconds, to see if I can read haikus within 6 seconds. And so I have a bunch of haikus actually that I haven't read, even if they were in the feature with other people reading or not. I have a bunch. If you are willing, and I guess I'd have to time it to see if I can get them within 6 seconds.
Okay.
Are you ready for that?
Sure.
All right. I'll introduce them and then I'm going to actually time this. But this is a poem called Civil. A civil war is raging in me, and I want a revolution.
Nice.
Simple little ones. This one I like, and I'm surprised I haven't read it because I like this one. This one is called Mirror. I look and see all that you've affected. The world, this house, the mirror.
Nice.
Like you affected me, and I look in the mirror and you did that. I'm like,
Right.
yeah. And there are so many different emotional values. I mean, a lot of them, I know the premise is supposed to be based on nature, but I'm just emotional either way, so we'll just deal with emotion. This one is called Instead. We destroy value instead of fighting for it. It's truly amazing. Which is so, you know, hey, we see something of value, let's reject it or do something and destroy something that is otherwise good. Which we often do in so many different aspects of our lives. And here I go commentating.
Yeah, I love your commentary. It's great.
Oh, I like this one. It's just simple. This one is called Need. I need to record these things to remind myself that I am alive.
Yes.
So I can just leave that one. This one wasn't a Twitter-length poem, but I've tried to shorten it to see, because I think you'll find this one funny. Let me see if I can do this one. This is called 8 People Outside. It's a shortened version, but... With public smoking illegal, a Chicago bar had 8 people smoke outside, and no one inside. Exactly. You know, I'm like, I drive by, I'm like, what?
There's 8 people outside and
smoking, and nobody was in the bar.
It's crazy.
Oh, this one, I don't know where I come up with these, but this one's called Floor. Writhing on the floor, bruised, she cried, begged for an end. I had to kill her.
Ooh.
Where are these things come from? I'm sorry. This one is humorous. This one's called, at least I think it, well, it's emotionally interesting. This one is called Of His Thirst. Of my dead Scotsman, they spoke of his drinking, but never of his thirst.
Ooh.
And this one I think is cute. Now I can end with a cuter one. Well, not end. I got too many of these, but they're so fast. This one is called Hold. Hold my hand so I can feel hearts, cupids, sunshine all over again.
Nice.
Like, aww. This one is called Fought. 1,000 wars are fought in your honor, swinging battle axes high.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to get it done, you're like, I'm going to fight for this. And
Sure.
swinging battle axes high. And this one. This one relates similarly, but it doesn't. But this is called Strike. Though he was injured, he still held his rifle proudly. He would aim well. Strike. You do what you can. I'm injured, but I can still do this. And no, these are so unrelated. They really are. This one is called Console. Canned condolences were all I heard when I lost the love of my life.
Ooh.
You know, I'm sorry for your loss. Here's your generic, what do you say if you, and you know,
People
you hear
just
this.
don't know what to say.
Exactly,
And
and
loss.
if- yeah.
It's so hard. And in this society, in this culture, I think that we just don't know how to deal with death. You know, and I've noticed that people don't take their children to. I always bring my children to wakes. You must think I'm so morbid, but I want them to know that this is a part of life, and we just move through it and we move on.
Right.
You know, it happens.
I remember going to my grandfather's wake. I was 9. I think that was the first death, and of course I was going to go. And I don't remember him enough to remember things from his younger days because he wasn't around that long for me. But I think it's important to see and know and understand. And it's amazing what a child can take with you from what you can remember, you know, of how other people were dealing with it, because I didn't know how to deal with it you know.
Oh, sure.
You know, so.
When my mother died, I wanted to crawl in the casket with her. I was
wanted
4.
to-
I wanted to take a nap with her.
Oh.
I was
Well.
like, I thought she was sleeping.
I was 36, and I wanted to touch my mom, but I'm like, I can't do that. There's a family here. I mean, it was a private thing that we just had because we wanted to say goodbye. And I'm like, I can't do that. And it wouldn't be her.
Right. Yes.
And
Yes.
that would be harder.
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. I did my grandmother's fingernails. She loved to have her nails done.
Oh.
And her hands were just, it was like painting wax. Her hands were just so cold, and
Oh my gosh.
it was just really strange. It was surreal.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, that poem, yeah. We can riff on that poem.
And here's a fun one. This is called Relegated, which somehow doesn't fit, but somehow perfectly does. This is Relegated. Oh, I've got my good thing here. Let me fix it. This is Relegated. At death, life's relegated to the ranks of the inconsequential.
Mmm.
But then again, it might not be humans if we're talking about death. We can talk about other things. This is extinct. When they go extinct, do we study the mistakes or just study bones? Because, I mean, we keep up, you know, the statues of skeletal remains of extinct species, and what are we doing? We don't know what happened to cause their extinction, but we will study the bones. You know, it's you know what you decide to do, or what how
And eat
anybody
meat.
with it, and eat meat. Or you can think of what I put on my new grocery list. That's what I did for humor. My new grocery list. Preparation H: tampons, Depends undergarments, and a bottle of whiskey.
Oh! Falling apart at the seams.
That's my new grocery list, exactly.
No.
I don't know. This one, I'm going to read the long one and the short one just so you can hear it. This was a shortened poem of something called Couldn't. I'll do the short one first. And I keep messing things up while I'm trying to find everything to do it. Couldn't. Couldn't get my fingers wet, so in the shower I wore surgical gloves and I couldn't feel the shampoo lather.
Wow.
The whole thing, the original one is couldn't get my fingers wet, so in the shower I wore surgical gloves. I couldn't feel the shampoo was lathering, and I couldn't even feel if my hair was clean.
Oh.
This is Ruminating. Performing background tasks equals ruminating over everything that went wrong with us. You know, doesn't a computer do that? Performing background tasks, really? I'm just gonna ruminate. And just think about everything that was wrong. Depression is too sad. I'm not gonna read that one. That just decided. This one was actually based on a photo I saw of something that John took a photo of something in India, and that's why I called this one Barbed. They talk of mercy, but still keep broken glass, barbed wire on roofs.
Yeah.
Hey, I think that was actually from something, Our Lady of Mercy Church.
Really?
And on it was all this, well, because you don't want people breaking in, but it just looks really oxymoronic just to have
Yes,
like, this barbed wire and
yes.
broken glass on the roofs, you know, scoop up the kneecaps
Our
of
Lady
people
of
that are
Mercy,
on Our Lady
right?
of Mercy. I think a while ago I had, the proud parent of an Our Lady of Humility student or something, and I think I said that at a Beach Poets feature or something. I'm like, that is the most wrong thing I've ever heard. Ever.
That's oxymoron. Right?
I'm going to switch it away from, I switched it away from death. Yay! I seem to write a lot of death stuff. Don't I, though? I have a book that's actually called Stabbity, Stabbity, Stab, Stab, Stab. And it's just a bunch of death poems in this book.
Oh.
But I just collect, I'm like, well, let me see. I could fill up a book with that. I have a lot of that stuff. But this I'll change it and swing it over toward love, I guess. This one is called Gone. When the love is gone, I've searched for it and wondered, where did the love go?
Okay.
You know, where does love go when the love is gone?
Yeah.
Where did it go?
Mm-hmm.
How did it just disappear? But then it still has to be depressed, I guess. I'm going to do this one called Out There. Alone and lonely, all the love was just out there. I couldn't reach it.
Mm.
I want to find this and I can't. Oh, this one kind of, this is just, they're out of order. This one kind of relates to the person with the battle axes high and wanting to fight. This one I find really funny. I don't know why. It's called Knife. He didn't want to pull the knife out, injuring him more. So he sat. Think about how many times, like, oh, sometimes if you pull a knife out, you can actually do more damage. It might be stopping the blood from spurting out somewhere. So I'll just sit here with the knife in me.
Yes, yeah.
It just seems like the weirdest thing.
It is the weirdest thing.
But
I read an article about a girl who had been stabbed, I don't know how many times, but because of how she was sitting on the couch, she didn't bleed to death. But when she was found like the next morning by police, she was a lone survivor. So, you know, you're absolutely
the
right.
way
It
to be
does
able
happen,
to
yes.
staying in a certain position or thing.
Mhm.
Well, I've got to do something humorous. After all of this.
Yes.
This one's called Pet. On the Hollywood streets, I saw signs for pet spas, and I laughed. Pet spas?
Yeah.
Like I'd go to a human spa, but one for pets? Really?
Yes.
Oh,
The things to spend your money on.
no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I guess if you've got the money,
Yeah,
what do you
people
say?
do.
This one, I think, is written in relationship to my accident. So I don't know if you'll like it, but this one is called Kindness. They almost killed me because I saved lives. That's what I get for kindness. That's what I get for being nice. I turned the wheels of my car to save the life of the motorcyclist in front of me, and 2 cars then hit me and I almost died. That's what I get for kindness.
Right.
That's what I get. And I am still? Why? What? No, it's just kidding.
Yeah.
Apparently it's quasi in my nature or something. Oh, this one I wrote.
It's good.
This,
It's in your nature.
this,
How
I
could
know,
you
that's so
live
rude
with
of me.
yourself knowing
It's so
you
rude of me to
killed somebody. And
Well, I mean, if that's something, and the thing is, I only know what happened because of eyewitness accounts. They said they saw that I spotted the car coming behind me, and they knew that there was a van in front of the motorcyclist and then me, and I turned the wheels of my car to avoid hitting them. But what else would you do? I hope.
right.
Really. I think I had written this one for my husband, I think. This one's called Found. I have fought the world's storms, blizzards, droughts, hurricanes, and I still found you.
Aww.
Aww. Oh, you said something about not eating animals. This is a perfect one for it. This one is called Pleading. When they eat one of you, word gets around, the animal said, pleading.
Mm.
This one, I think I had to alter it slightly so it would sound appropriate. This one is edited for this reading. I hope you like it. It's intriguing. This one is called Only. Some 80s Southern barber shops still would only cut hair for white men.
What?
Dead serious.
Seriously?
My husband, when he was in the Marines, when he was stationed, I don't know, Georgia or something, they said that you can go anywhere when you're off duty, but the one thing you cannot do is go to a barber shop. Because there are barber shops that don't want to deal with black men. And we can't support that, so you cannot, as a Marine, we're not asking, don't go to barbershops in this town. That's how I heard of it. That's how I heard of that.
Crazy.
Is that crazy?
That's the craziest thing I've heard of.
There's a Marine from another room going, yep, that's what happened.
So wrong. It's so wrong.
Oh, and I think I even was discussing this with him earlier on. This one is called Humans. There's a tree for each species on Earth. But humans, I'm sure we killed ours.
Ooh.
As what we do is destroy things.
Right.
How many trees and forests do we plunder and the like, and how many rainforest sections have been planted or destroyed to plant more orange groves so our concentrate orange juice can be cheaper. That kind of thing, you know?
Yes, yes. So, do you want to do just a few more?
Sure. I think I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. How about that? Is that
Sounds
good
like
for
a
you?
plan.
Okay, this one is called Stagger. The crowds around him stagger, sway like weeds, and he thinks, let those weeds go. This one is called Addiction. I look at the clock. It's time. I always have to take another pill. This one, I've never read this one. This one is called At the Camp. Through wind, sleet, or rain, they say, work will set you free. Their chant till you die. Yeah, yes, I had Dachau on my mind when I, but then again. Anyway. And they're all getting sad, I'm sorry. I don't have like really happy ones to end this one. This one is a suicide heat poem, but hear it and see. The shards of glass are colder than the air, so I'll take it. Ooh. And this last one is called Sting. It's just a small sting. It's only physically painful, really. No, it just hurts your heart. Oh! That's that sting. Oh. It's just that little sting.
Oh, that little sting.
It's just that little sting.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh. Overload, very short, fast poems.
Kuypers. And Janet, tell me where people can find you. Find your work. You're on the internet, yes?
I sure am. If you knew how to spell my name, JanetKuypers.com, JanetKuypers, JanetKuypers.com would do. As I said, I also do the book releases through Scars Publications, so if you go to scars, SCARS.tv, there are so many options of getting a hold of any of my books there. There's a books link that you can just scroll through a bunch of books of my own. You can go to my own web writing page through Scars. There's, I think, on the bottom of the main page of Scars.tv, there is this whole listing of all of these different books of different themes and different styles.
Nice.
So
and what about YouTube? I mean, you're on YouTube too.
I am. As I was explaining that when I had first done this, I thought I would have, a section in the back with all the YouTube links, especially because I run Poetry Open Mic and I have all of these recordings of myself. I'm like, I'll just have a section in the back of all the YouTube things. I'm like, this is like running long pages of tiny little web page links. Why don't I just put them at the bottom in this large volume set? Why don't I just put video links at the bottom so I can just look at this and go, have I read this before? Well, I don't have myself on video reading it before because it says so in this book.
It's nice.
So yeah, they're all
that reference, and then people can go back and listen to you recite those poems to see what the author's inflection is intended. I mean, some writers, some poets are not very good readers. We know that's true.
Yeah.
But Janet has a gift. I mean, not only can you write, but you also read so beautifully. And to see you live is just a special treat.
Oh,
and so we can see you live at the Gallery Cabaret, where you host an open mic on the, what days?
It's every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday.
Which means this Wednesday we're not on, but the next one. And if you want to know anything about that, that thing as well, go to, more web pages, www.chaoticarts.org/the cafe. This place used to be hosted at the place called the Cafe, but now it is it's at Gallery Cabaret, and that's why this open mic is called the Cafe Gallery. So and there are lists of schedules and lists for features and lots of podcasts, and there's a list of things of what I have performed there. And yes, if you've got my name, Janet Kuypers, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, and I think I might be coming up with a Poetry Vine account, and all of these crazy little haikus might be
be
on there as well.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be great. I'll look forward to that. We'll be able to see the wizard in the background and our Wizard listeners can say, oh, I remember when she was on the radio, and that's what she looked like when she was reciting those poems.
You can see and hear and all of that
Absolutely.
stuff, definitely.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, well, thank you so much, Janet.
Thank you.
And bless you for bringing in all this work. My goodness, like carrying in a library.
Like tomes
wow,
and
it's just amazing.
If you're hearing
beautiful.
this thudding noise, it's all of my books stacking.
Yes,
it's
so.
wow,
Wow,
wow, indeed.
Yeah.
And the back covers, since it's relatively plain on the front covers of these, back covers often have things from shows and performances, reading periodic table poems or having things. Actually, here's a photo of me when I was here at WZRD in the past. That's even in there. So there's all sorts of stuff. So definitely.
Hey, there we are, the Wizard, WZRD Chicago, 88.3 FM, where you never know what to expect, like this, plastic or new wave sound, fresh from the WZRD collection, and it's WZRD number 16621. It won't mean anything to you, but it does to the wizards out there. Hello, wizards. We've been listening to Janet Kuypers, awesome poet, and you can check her out on the web. She is definitely not a Luddite. So with that in mind, we're going to listen to some music here at the Wizard.